Hundreds of thousands of people visit the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya every single day. They bring savings cut from household expenses, portions of their harvest, and heirloom jewelry, resulting in a massive daily influx of physical wealth. To manage this, a fortress-like security apparatus was installed. TCS operated a 360-degree CCTV network. The State Bank of India oversaw a highly restricted basement counting room, and professional audit teams were put on standby. Yet right under those cameras and inside that secure room, the temple's donations were systematically siphoned off for months. An internal syndicate, formed by the very people trusted as guards, turned the vault into a personal source of revenue, breaking the faith of millions of devotees. The groundwork for this vulnerability was laid years before the temple even opened. On February 5, 2020, the government established the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirthkshetra Trust to manage the temple's construction and its finances. The trust was designed as an autonomous body. This specific legal designation removed direct government oversight. Standard public accountability tools, like the Right to Information Act, were blocked entirely. When citizens tried to file RTIs to see the financial records, they were denied. By November 2020, top officials brought in a private audit firm. The firm reported that the financial management was highly unprofessional, lacked systematic records, and warned that without immediate corrections, theft was inevitable. The trust suppressed the report and continued operations. By closing off public scrutiny and ignoring direct warnings from their own auditors, the architects of the trust created an environment suited for exploitation. When the temple opened and donations surged to over 1 million rupees a day, the physical handling of the cash required a large staff. The State Bank of India was tasked with hiring qualified professionals through a formal interview process. Instead, trust officials pressured the bank and security firms to abandon standard vetting. The counting room was staffed by local residents recommended by trust leadership. The list included the nephew of a trust official's driver and the brother-in-law of a key administrator, and individuals whose previous jobs ranged from driving autos to repairing cars. 50 people were placed in the basement counting room. Because almost all of them were hired through personal recommendations, they operated as a tight-knit network, rendering the expensive surveillance systems ineffective. In the beginning, their methods were crude. Knowing the exact locations of the cameras, some workers would intentionally block the lens while others slipped 500 rupee bundles into their pockets, hiding them in the washroom to retrieve at the end of their shift. When trust officials noticed the discrepancy in 500 rupee notes and added extra physical guards, the syndicate adapted. They shifted to an accounting loophole. Normally, mixed bills are sorted into bundles of exactly 100 notes to simplify counting. The workers simply squeezed 120 notes into bundles meant for 100. Each bundle was then wrapped in a paper voucher, officially certifying it as exactly 100 notes. A 50,000 rupee stock actually held 60,000, but the official ledger recorded only the face value on the voucher. Later, when the cash was transported 200 meters from the temple to the bank, the couriers simply skimmed the excess 20 notes off the top. The bank received the exact 100 notes listed on the voucher, and the books perfectly balanced. By injecting false data into the first step of the ledger, the thieves bypassed every subsequent physical checkpoint. By March 2026, SBI officials detected anomalies and requested the trust to rotate the counting staff. The trust leadership explicitly refused, keeping the original team in place. Unable to change the personnel, investigators installed a covert camera inside the counting room at the end of May. On June 4th, they reviewed the footage and watched the syndicate hiding bundles in their clothes. The footage triggered immediate action. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath formed a special investigation team, and massive police raids swept across Ayodhya. Workers earning 12,000 rupees a month were caught building 25 lakh rupee houses. Police found hundreds of thousands in cash stuffed in a heap of cow dung. One former auto driver amassed jewelry, cash, and property documents, including a 70-room hostel valued near 50 crores. This immediate accumulation of wealth by entry-level employees proved the theft was a daily, systemic drain of the temple's resources. Political opposition leaders began publicizing records that shifted the focus toward the trust's massive land acquisitions. Documents handed over to the SIT revealed questionable real estate deals. In one instance, a 1.2-hectare plot of land was purchased by two individuals for 2 crore rupees. 10 minutes later, that exact same plot was sold to the Temple Trust for 18.5 crores. The physical assets were also affected. 200 kilograms of silver bricks donated by the Sindhi community disappeared without a single official receipt ever being issued. There are now ongoing investigations into whether heavy gold necklaces and ornaments donated by devotees were swapped for fakes before reaching the ledger. Financial exploitation reached beyond the counting room, surfacing in local real estate deals and the handling of precious metal donations. In late June, the Special Investigation Team finalized its preliminary report on the Trust's systemic failures. However, they submitted their findings to an additional chief secretary, who happened to sit as a member of the very trust being investigated. Following the report, first information reports were filed, and jail sentences were handed down, but only to 8 low-level operators, the mechanics, drivers, and clerks. The leadership who constructed the autonomous framework, suppressed the initial audit warnings, and forced the nepotistic hiring practices faced zero legal consequences. Restoring the integrity of the institution requires dismantling the secrecy. Public funds demand public ledgers. The trust needs an open, real-time dashboard tracking daily donations, mandatory independent annual audits, and a complete restoration of RTI access for Indian citizens. Without structural transparency, the people guarding the vault remain the only ones watching it, and the absolute faith of millions of devotees will remain a resource for those operating in the shadows.